HBO Max's new reality dating series, FBoy Island. Is it seriously called FBoy Island?
Head underwater, falling back into you. I thought we'd be smarter, I got nothing left to lose. You said you fall with me, no matter how far it goes, down deep and under.
To be clear, I'm not the one censoring the word F-boy. It's the show. And it's not just in the title either. That's how everyone on the show says the word in casual conversation.
I'm Garrett, and I'm a certified F-boy.
Which is especially weird because, like, they do say fuck.
I don't give a fuck about none of these other motherfuckers.
And the guys talk about their penises all the time.
I know I don't have the biggest dick.
But apparently it's just a step too far to say fuck boy.
Welcome to FBoy Island.
Okay, so FBoy Island is a reality dating show hosted by comedian Nikki Glazer.
I just started ovulating.
In which 3 women go to a tropical island looking for love, with 24 men to choose from. The twist?
There are 12 nice guys, and there are 12 self-identified F-boys. And it is up to you to figure out who is who.
How is it determined who's an F-boy and who's a nice guy? They said so. They said that's what they are. Brilliant premise. This is the first question that we need to dig into today. According to the show, what is an F-boy? What is a nice guy? And are these categories at all coherent? I'm gonna answer that last question first. No.
I'm at least seeing 24 F-boys. So I don't know if someone like did the math wrong.
The major difference between F-boys and nice guys in terms of the show's structure is that the F-boys are on the show competing for a $100,000 cash prize if they're selected by one of the women at the end, while the nice guys are on the show looking for love. And just happen to also be able to win a cash prize if they're selected. The difference is just their stated intent. You've gotta trust them on this, okay? The distinction is made more confusing because the show refuses to explain its rules. Nobody, viewer nor contestant, is told how the cash prize is going to work until the last episode. So it initially seems like the goal is probably for the women to root out the F-boys, but there's no clear explanation for why they should care about this nebulous classification system. The show, though, clearly wants you to believe that these two groups are totally distinct, to a point where the nice guys go to heaven and the F-boys go to, I guess, purgatory? When a contestant is eliminated, their status as nice guy or F-boy is finally revealed.
Andrew, Garrett P, nice guy, nice try. Peter, F-boy, F-bye.
The nice guys take a limo to the nice guy grotto, a luxurious paradise where they drink pina coladas and have homoerotic food fights. Meanwhile, the F-boys take a walk of shame to the bus stop where they're transported to Limbro, a dingy open-air camp where they sleep on cots and live off coconuts. This is apparently an opportunity for them to do some soul-searching and therapy sessions with host Nikki.
You would bang the pussy, and then you would break the heart.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd like us all to join hands.
These days I just can't.
What is this show? I do not understand. There are a few traits I took note of in trying to make sense of the F-boy nice guy dichotomy. Let's see. I take notes while watching dating shows now. The nice guys are kind, caring, dependable. The F-boys will have sex with your mom. F-boys live a wild lifestyle. They have careers like club promoter or Bitcoin investor. Bitcoin investor? So, unemployed? I don't think that's a career. Nice guys, on the other hand, are safe and stable with steady, boring jobs like forensic nutritionist, whatever the hell that is, or exotic dancer / realtor. Yeah, there's honestly not much of a clear difference in their lifestyles or careers. Among both nice guys and F-boys, the job titles are roughly equally ridiculous. TikToker, fridge deliverer, CBD entrepreneur, childcare / influencer. I feel so seen by these job titles, honestly. My name is Théo. I'm an aspiring YouTuber / dog walker, and I'm here looking for love. and or YouTube subscribers. The other F-boy personality trait that gets a lot of attention in the show is peacocking, in which the men relentlessly try to prove how much more masculine they are than their competition.
Peacocking, it's like, you know, like a big dick contest by being like ultra competitive and like really loud.
This show is filled to the brim with aggressive man energy.
I understand you probably look at me like a threat.
You have your way and I have mine.
Well, your way is a bitch way.
Oh, shit. My 10-year-old brother probably gets more girls than Chris, and he's 10 years old.
They are desperate to prove to the women, but let's be honest, mostly to each other, how incredibly manly they are.
Hey, you love doing cardio?
Yeah, we both, yeah. I
So how my dick taste?
The homoeroticism on this show is honestly overwhelming, but again, it's not just the F-boys who are peacocking. All of the men have got their peacocks out all over the place. One of the moments I find strangest involves this guy, New Jared. He's introduced a few episodes in, and there was already a Jared, so they start being referred to as New Jared and OG Jared. New Jared is peacocking hardcore from the moment he arrives.
What brings you here?
These three lovely ladies. I don't know about those guys, though.
The way I carry myself, confidence, I look people in the eye, I have a good resume, I'm a business owner, I play professional football, and I look at these guys like, they're not ready for me.
So all of the women are convinced that he's an F-boy, but later on it's revealed definitively that he's a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
Wow. What is going on?
And one of them, CJ, apologizes for her mistake.
My apologies.
But like, she thought he was an F-boy because he was exhibiting F-boy behavior, right? I'm so sorry for noticing your personality when you are in fact officially canonically nice, according to you and the producers.
Now that I know that he has the potential to be a positive person in my life, I want to give him that fair shot.
To better understand the enigma of the F-boy, I turned to the wise words of the creator of the show, Elan Gale, known for being a very quirky guy.
I want to constantly do things that are interesting and bizarre.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
Elan has explained the nice guy F-boy dichotomy by saying that the show is an attempt to grapple honestly with the difficult realities of contemporary dating. The show is so goddamn raw and real.
One thing I kept noticing in my day-to-day life is people kept referring to people they went on dates with as boys. It's been a thing where you hear it and you wonder if there's a dating show that's reflective of that part of dating culture, swipe culture, ghosting culture.
With the rise of dating apps, you're presented with carefully manufactured profiles, and it's difficult to grasp the authenticity beneath them. That's the idea behind FBoy Island. You're presented with these men, but you don't know their intentions. Maybe they're nice guys, or maybe they're F-boys, it's hard to say. Just like in real life. Wow, so deep. Just like in real life, it can be hard to discern who's a nice guy and who's an F-boy, but at least we know that deep down, everyone neatly aligns with one of two distinct moral categories. Elan was previously a producer on dating shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, but he felt there was a dishonesty to them.
Most dating shows say, here's a bunch of really great people. You should get to know them. And then part of the journey is for the lead to figure out whether that person is really interested in them, or if they are enjoying the game or spotlight. What if we say, here's a bunch of people, some are really great, some are not. There's an honesty to that.
Elan is all about that kind of honesty. In interviews, he emphasizes honesty as a step towards self-improvement. You have to be honest about your flaws in order to improve. We have to be honest that these F-boys are F-boys so that they can improve in their limbro therapy sessions or through the power of love or whatever. The nice guys, on the other hand, are perfect just the way they are, I guess, chilling in the nice guy grotto pouring oat milk on their chests. The F-boy nice guy dichotomy sounds incoherent, but as you watch, it does start to feel like it makes sense, mostly because some of the F-boys are just like truly deeply horrific people. Like this guy Garrett, Bitcoin investor Garrett, starts opening up to Sarah.
Because I was adopted, I definitely have kind of like a little abandonment issue.
Okay.
And that's what makes me put up walls.
And then he's like,
with girls, when I open up to them, they're like, oh, okay. He's really willing to be like open, and all I'm really doing is just trying to let you really open your legs to me.
Okay, I guess the premise of the show makes sense if the F-boys are like this. I do want to acknowledge that this is a TV show, it's edited, everyone is being prodded by producers, but taken as it is, wow, is Garrett misogynistic and horrible.
I love threesomes, I love foursomes, fivesomes, multiple girls. There's no way that like some dorky guy can fuck a girl as good as I can fuck a girl. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, I'm gonna dick your girl down.
Garrett is essentially playing the role of pickup artist, using manipulation and deceit to attempt to seduce women. The way the men talk in general in this show often seems aligned with pickup artist adjacent contemporary man nonsense.
There's a lot of alphas, and when you have a lot of alphas together, it's just like it's like war.
You've got your alpha males, your sigma males, no betas allowed on FBoy Island. And then there's the idea of game.
None of his game works. Like, he literally has no game.
And this is just full-on pickup artist. Game refers to strategic maneuvering to acquire sexual or romantic partners. It reduces women to prizes to be won and denies them full knowledge of the arrangements they're consenting to.
Letting them know that I'm a safe place to go to. It's the way that I get them to believe that I'm a nice guy.
In her research on pickup artists, feminist media scholar Rachel O'Neill argues that the logic of pickup artistry rests in men conceptualizing their intimate relationships in economic terms. Men are competing in the sexual marketplace. Women are commodities to be acquired through the refinement of one's skills. Intimacy becomes a signal of status, of successful masculine entrepreneurship.
Pickup or game are appealing precisely because they recast success with women as a matter of labor and investment. Through the language of meritocracy, the contention that these skills are accessible to all, pickup or game promises that any man can achieve greater choice and control over their intimate and sexual lives.
As O'Neill argues, this pickup logic promises control. The desire of a pickup artist isn't really for sex or romance or intimacy. It's a desire to feel in control, to achieve a sense of masculine mastery. It's a way to assert an empowered self through dominance over women. This is made clear in FBoy Island. Garrett's maneuvering is clearly not about a longing for intimacy, it's about winning.
I came here to win. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win.
The FBoys want to win, the nice guys are sincerely looking for love. On a reality competition series with the chance to win up to $100,000. Look, as awful as Garrett is, as obnoxious as many of these men are, the nice guy FBoy binary is nonsense. There are supposed nice guy contestants who seem creepy as hell. Like, there's this guy in the first episode who persistently approaches Nakia after she makes it clear she's not interested.
I would love to have 2 minutes with you.
Oh my god, and then he's put up for elimination, and...
I wrote you a poem.
Oh no. Oh no.
When we fall off the path at times, it leads us to strengthen and sharpen our minds.
Please don't make me watch this. And there are FBoys who, at least from what we see of them, are basically just promiscuous, but not necessarily dishonest or manipulative. But beyond all that, if the defining feature of an FBoy is that they have game, I mean, all of these men are literally playing a game. It's a competition for the women's affection. This entire enterprise is premised on FLogic. I need a drink. So CJ is super into this guy, Casey.
He is the hottest guy in Ohio.
Casey's last name is Johnson, so his initials are CJ, so he already has CJ's name tattooed on his arm, so clearly it's meant to be they're making out, they're all over each other. CJ sort of suspects that he might be an F-boy, but she's not letting that stop her.
I want what's bad for me sometimes. You know, it's like when you're on a diet and you're just like I just want to eat that little snack.
Meanwhile, Casey has also been broing it up with ultimate F-boy Garrett.
I love Casey. Casey's awesome. We have our own little bromance. He's a tall, confident, attractive man, just like me.
Fucking Garrett? Sarah is still pretty into Garrett, but word gets out that he has a girlfriend back home.
I was talking to Garrett off camera.
I don't even talk to you, bro.
He can't get his story straight.
This was a relationship that was about 4 months long, and before I came here, we both agreed that we're gonna take a break. It's not like we're taking a break in any way, shape, or form.
So the women are obviously all pissed off at Garrett.
Why are you here?
Where's Sarah at?
Why are you worried about where Sarah is?
She's not worried about where you are.
Can I sit down?
No, stand up.
Oh.
Sarah?
Your lying boyfriend is here.
Day after day, I'm just getting ripped down. Built up, ripped down. It's almost like defeating.
Wow. Cancel culture strikes again. CJ is not happy that Casey is so close to Garrett. She confronts him about it, he's defensive, he doesn't want to turn on his friend. CJ is not having it.
Casey seems very passionate about defending Garrett. If he wants to be taken seriously in this competition, Casey should distance himself from people who are not doing well at the competition. Winners win.
Winners win. Huh, what I find notable here is that CJ is not framing Casey's wrongdoing as a personal wrong, she's framing it as a competitive disadvantage. She's not saying that Casey is disappointing her by hanging out with a jerk, she's saying he's being strategically ineffective by continuing to associate with a contestant who's falling in the show's social hierarchy. The problem isn't that Casey has a shitty asshole friend who she can't stand, it's that he's failing to apply a detached rationality to the friendship. She wants him to put strategy and competition over that relationship. She wants him to be an F-friend. The thing that's so bizarre about FBoy Island is that the basic logic of the FBoys, the supposed villains, is also the basic logic of the show. It's a game show, it's a competition, everyone there is trying to win. The FBoy is essentially a dramatization of the wider dating show trope of being there for the wrong reasons. Supposedly the right reasons for being on a dating show are love or romance, while the FBoys are there for money or clout. But nobody goes on these shows for the right reasons. Can you imagine going on FBoy Island for the right reasons? Like, are we seriously supposed to believe that it would be a good idea to date someone who sincerely decided that the best way to find love would be to go on a reality show called FBoy Island? What the hell? I would much rather be with someone who's just there for the Instagram followers. In her writing about pickup artists, Rachel O'Neal argues that their attitude towards intimacy, however misogynistic and damaging, is essentially in line with a broader cultural logic that's becoming increasingly prevalent.
What the seduction community represents is, in fact, less a deviation or departure from current social conventions surrounding sex and relationships than an extension and acceleration of existing cultural norms. That is to say, the underpinning logics of the seduction community are consistent with broader reconfigurations of intimacy and subjectivity taking place within neoliberal capitalism.
Okay, fine, I guess we're talking about neoliberal capitalism. For the purposes of this video, we can understand neoliberalism as political theorist Wendy Brown has described it, as the extension of market logic to ever-increasing domains of social life.
Neoliberalism transmogrifies every human domain and endeavor, along with humans themselves, according to a specific image of the economic. All conduct is economic conduct. All spheres of existence are framed and measured by economic terms and metrics, even when those spheres are not directly monetized.
That particular economic model into which our lives are increasingly molded is based around a belief that the best way to promote well-being is for individuals to freely pursue their self-interest as entrepreneurial market actors within a free market. The implementation of neoliberal capitalism as a political and economic system involves policies that limit public assistance through welfare or social programs in favor of market solutions achieved through private enterprise. Public services are privatized or subjected to market forces, industries are deregulated, government social spending is cut. Neoliberalism also transforms us, its subjects. We internalize its logic. We create ourselves as market actors. We aspire to self-maximization, reading self-help books and trying to become more productive or competitive or entrepreneurial. We develop our personal brands, turning ourselves into products to Help grow our YouTube channels. Please subscribe. We imagine ourselves as autonomous individuals in full control of our own success. We internalize the centrality of individual responsibility, taking pride in all that we've earned through our hard work, or if we're struggling, understanding that as a personal failure, a source of shame. And this neoliberal sensibility infects ever-increasing domains of our lives. It reconfigures our relationships. It reconfigures intimacy. Elan Gale described the idea for FBoy Island as inspired by the age of dating apps, which are a perfect example of this. With dating apps, romance is turned into a market. The Tinder app sits on your phone right alongside Amazon and Uber Eats. The search for love is made seamless with online shopping. Tinder inserts advertisements into your dating life. It tries to sell you a Tinder Gold subscription. Big Dating wants to keep you single, so you'll keep using their apps. This marketized attitude towards intimacy isn't only imposed by Tinder, it's internalized by users. We create strategically curated selves on our profiles. We interact with potential dates through calculated swiping. We put our dating options in competition to select the optimal candidate in line with our individual criteria.
Our language for talking about relationships and even feelings increasingly borrows from the market. Value, capital, investment, worth. Dating profiles frequently present individuals as wanting the whole package. Internet dating and other mediated sites require that we present ourselves and our desires for intimacy in ever more standardized, hyper-rationalized, and scripted ways. Intimate relationships become framed as shopping for a partner. More generally, in neoliberal societies, love and sex are increasingly presented through discourses of entrepreneurship.
Romantic intimacy becomes understood as a process of individuals competing in the relationship market to optimize their own self-interested goals. This is what we will call FLogic. FBoy Island presents a heightened version of this FLogic. It's an HBO show. The relationships have been facilitated for the purpose of creating original content that will get people to buy HBO Max subscriptions. And let's be real, the contestants are on the show for the Instagram followers. So many of the contestants are various forms of influencer, content creator, digital marketer, or entrepreneur. They're on the show to build their personal brands. The three women are too. They're a social media manager, a content creator, a stylist slash singer slash songwriter. They're on the show at least in part as a professional opportunity. There are challenges in each episode that are sometimes suggestive of this kind of personal brand building. Like in the 4th episode, there's a challenge that's selfies with a twist.
The twist? Someone else is taking it, which is just photography.
Everyone's very insistent that taking pictures with someone really reveals a lot about your chemistry or something.
You're going to be exploring your relationships and your chemistry.
I know photo shoots definitely reveal a lot of chemistry when there's two people involved, so I'm really excited to see who I have the most chemistry with and who I would look really good with.
What are you talking about? How is a photo shoot in any way a meaningful test of relationship compatibility? It makes more sense though when you remember that a bunch of these people want to be influencers. What it reveals is how you're gonna look in your Instagram pictures.
Garrett knows exactly what he's doing. He wanted to do like a Sports Illustrated look on the beach, and that's exactly what we did.
The show wants you to believe that F-boy behavior is just a character flaw of individuals. The F-boys are the villains. They're the bad dudes. They might be redeemable. They can work on themselves in limbo with therapy and soul searching, or maybe the women will fix them. But regardless, they are the primary problem. It's these individual men who must be fixed. The reconfiguration of relationships under neoliberalism is framed as the fault of individual F-boys who don't hide the marketized aspects of their intimacy appropriately, rather than as a pervasive cultural logic that the show wholeheartedly shares. But okay, I don't want to suggest that this reconfiguration of intimacy is totalizing. Not everything under this neoliberal paradigm is fake or detached. There are clearly real emotions at play here, and we get glimpses in the show of what feels like sincere love. After Casey continues to defend his friendship with Garrett, CJ puts him in her bottom 2, not because she has any intention of eliminating him, but just to make a point.
Want to explain this?
I'm mourning.
Did you lose someone?
I lost hope.
But then...
Tonight is going to be a double elimination.
Wait, what? Did you know?
Is like Ashton Kutcher about to come out? Am I on punked right now?
I'm sorry.
Casey reveals that he came to the island as an F-boy and lashes out with some cruel final words to CJ.
You don't deserve any of these guys.
But CJ didn't want this to happen. They're both devastated.
But you're very special to me, and I'm sorry that things didn't go well.
And then Casey goes to Limbro, does some deep introspection with Nikki, and realizes how real his feelings for CJ are. He needs to see her again. He escapes from Limbro, runs through the woods, and hitchhikes back to the villa. What is even happening right now? Why are they letting him do this? Why does this show have such a blatant disregard for the rules? He gets back to the villa, and CJ is excited to see him. But that's not the sincere love I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about Casey and Garrett, reunited at last.
Besides all the romance going on here, you want to talk about bromances? Me and Garrett got the best bromance in the history of anything, bro.
Hey, wait, first of all, you still look handsome. Bro, same to you, bro.
These F-boys cannot get enough of each other.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
A dead ass.
Okay.
Would you like to live with me after this?
Are you asking me if I'll move in with you?
Yes.
What?
All I know. Love you.
Oh my God. And now, a visit to the F Library. Welcome to F-Boy Book Club, where we read books by and for shitty men. This week, we're reading You're Not That Great, But Neither Is Anyone Else, a self-help book by some asshole named Elan Gale, creator of FBoy Island. This book is absolutely unhinged.
All those self-help books and all your positive friends and all your daily affirmations aren't going to curb your desperate need for approval. In fact, it just gets worse and worse every day as those around you fill your brain with so much self-loving bliss, it's surprising you can get your bloated head through a doorway.
Elan's thesis in the book is that you suck, you're horrible, and you need to know it. According to Elan, we have a culture of false positivity that stifles improvement. Other self-help books will tell you that when you feel bad about yourself and your life, you need to have a more positive outlook. Love yourself, practice gratitude. But that relentless positivity prevents you from changing in ways that would actually make you better. So instead, you need to feel like shit. And you're correct in feeling like shit because you are shit. Everyone is shit. You need to internalize that you're shit if you want to become less shit, but you'll still always be shit, so you need to constantly work to be better. Elan recounts following this wisdom in his own life. Growing up, his father told him that he would never achieve his dreams of making it an entertainment. That negativity fueled him. He was motivated by shame, anxiety, and desperation. And that was all good and right.
I woke up every morning angry that I hadn't achieved my goals yet, and so I slept less because I didn't deserve sleep. And I skipped family trips because I didn't earn them. I stayed in the same shitty apartment for years because I didn't deserve a place without dog shit stains on the carpet.
Well done, Elan. Very good. He used those vital tools of shame, anxiety, and desperation, SAD for short, and his hard work paid off. He made it an entertainment. Fuck you, Dad. But then Elan realized that now that he had proved his idiot father wrong, he had no spite left to fuel him.
And then something wonderful happened. I realized that it wasn't enough.
He needed more. He always needed more. He will never not need more.
I realized I was hindering myself with my self-congratulatory vibes. And so, I started a new course of action in my life, focusing on all the things that were wrong with me and pounding myself with negative words and disaffirmations. Sure, I was making a living, but was I making the best living? Was I using every moment well? What else was wrong with me?
This is how you must be, Elan says. You must always strive for your life to be the best. Never settle. Every moment must be used effectively, efficiently, productively, successfully. Every second must be optimized for maximum greatness. Elan writes that the human condition is rooted in desire. You desire success, admiration, love, wealth, and no matter what you accomplish, you always desire more. And because you always desire more, you never have all that you desire, so you are perpetually a failure, and you need to feel like shit about that. Elan is irritated by the way that people claim to be content with mediocrity. Everyone always says that all they want is to be happy. They just want a home, a family, people who care about them enough to get by. Screw that, says Elan. No, they must want more.
If you ask people what they want, they will look you in the eye and they will lie to you. They will tell you they aspire to mediocrity. If they're not lying, they're just incredibly stupid, and I do not know which one is worse.
Elan says you should make a list of all the things that you want so that you can realize how depressingly pathetic you are for not having them yet. Things like a different car for every day of the week, a gold-plated Cocker Spaniel, a lover and companion you consider godlike, a water slide but with champagne, the sex drive of hormonal panther, that one pair of shoes that looks like every other pair of shoes but for some reason costs $3,000. Those are the kinds of things that it is simply in your human nature to desire. It's biology, it's hardwired. If you desire such things and don't have them, you're a goddamn loser and you need to feel ashamed. You feel ashamed so that you'll work harder and get more of them. Of course, there's not enough to go around. That's why we must mercilessly compete.
After all, everything in life is a competition. And not just the obvious things. The job you want, the life partner you want, the painting you want. If they're great, which they should be, there are going to be a lot of people who want them. If you marry someone wonderful, you're effectively making someone wonderful unavailable to everyone else. And if someone else marries someone wonderful, they are making that person unavailable to you.
Everyone around you is either a commodity or a competitor or both. You must pursue your greatness at their expense. You must maximize yourself relative to all the other pathetic good-for-nothing shit people. And don't worry, don't be too intimidated, because they are shit people. They've bought into positivity culture. They don't hate themselves like you and I, and that means they're probably even worse than us.
Almost everyone you meet is still running, screaming wildly toward mediocrity. There's a huge-ass mob of scared idiots cluttering up the middle, which means there's actually a ton of room at the top. Imagine if they were trying even a little bit. Imagine if you were. Imagine if you just actually went after the things you actually wanted.
Since all those lazy, worthless people aren't even trying to maximize their greatness, if you work hard and never take breaks and drive yourself into constant misery because that's what you deserve because you're a miserable excuse for a person, then you're sure to succeed at being a little less shitty than you are currently, but still never enough. You will never be enough.
As I write these last few words, I feel a great deal of accomplishment, but by the time you read these words, I won't feel that anymore. That feeling doesn't help me.
So that's the book. Okay, I think there's some truth in Elan's basic initial point that your emotions are in fact communicating things. If you're sad or anxious or ashamed, those feelings likely indicate a dissatisfaction with your life or circumstances that can't just be solved with a band-aid of positivity. There are real material factors at play. Where he loses me is in his insistence that those dissatisfactions are always purely individual. For example, he writes about his weight loss, saying that a few years before writing the book, he was fat and unhappy with how he looked. An insecurity made worse by working on dating shows in which he was constantly surrounded by a bunch of ripped dudes with their shirts off. He decided he wanted to lose weight, and to do that, he intentionally fostered shame and self-loathing about his body.
Every morning, I stood in front of the mirror and I stared at the body I hated. I shamed the living fuck out of myself.
Elan insists that he's not fat-phobic or anything. He says this is just his personal, individual thing. He says that he personally was ashamed of his disgusting, horrible body, and for him personally, that shame was good and correct, but that doesn't mean anything for anyone else. But I mean, he's writing a self-help book, right? It's not a memoir, it's literally a book of advice for other people. Obviously, Elan's shame at his body came from somewhere. He was ashamed because his body type wasn't in line with social expectations for male beauty. And if he thinks that this shame is so valuable that he intentionally fostered it within himself, clearly that implies that he thinks fatness is shameful. Even if he tries to deny it, his shame has a value system embedded within it. His lack of compassion for himself directly implies a lack of compassion for others. Similarly, when Elan writes about the value of feeling shame at not being as successful as you want in your career pursuits, there's an implied disdain for those that he views as below him, the mediocre people cluttering up the middle. The value system in this case is hardcore capitalist. Nobody was born wanting a $3,000 pair of shoes. They're a status symbol. They're a symbol of winning in the competition of life, a symbol of having bested your competitors. And apparently those not aspiring to such status symbols are a mob of scared idiots. They're the losers of the game that they're too scared to play. Elan venerates this idea of meritocracy. Working hard makes you successful, which makes you still not great, but at least less shitty than you were before, less shitty than the other people. According to this logic system, people who aren't successful under capitalism, who are struggling, haven't tried even a little bit and are therefore the most shameful of us all. One can imagine taking Elan's basic point about positivity culture and concluding something like, we shouldn't just tell people to be happy, we should listen to what's wrong, to help and cooperate with them to try to improve our collective conditions. Instead, no, you need to harness your negative feelings in order to make yourself even more miserable, competing to be better than everyone else. Fuck you, Elan. I hated your book and I hate you, and you should be grateful that I'm telling you this because it can give you the shame that you so clearly need to fuel your much-needed self-improvement. Look, I feel like I do get where you're coming from to some extent, Elan. I'm in my little year of hustle culture right now, trying to turn my YouTubing into a career, and I do understand the desperation to succeed, the anxiety that I won't, the shame of failure, those things you say it's so incredibly important that I feel. I have found that what I used to treat as leisure is increasingly becoming work. My videos are no longer a hobby, now they're a career. I don't watch your dating shows for entertainment, Elan, I watch them to produce content with searchable keywords. I don't read for pleasure, I read your deeply unpleasurable garbage so I can rant about it in a YouTube video. It's like you said, I need to optimize my time. I need to maximize my potential. I need to be an efficient machine. I don't need to relax. I mean, I have many of the feelings that you argue that I should. I already feel guilty when I'm not working. You tell me I should feel guiltier. I stay up until 3 a.m. editing a video before my self-imposed deadline. You tell me I should stay up later. I feel bad if my work doesn't seem like it's paying off. You tell me, yeah, I should feel bad. I'm a pathetic failure piece of shit and I need to work harder to be better. I deny myself satisfaction in my work in the same way that you do, Elan. When I was writing the script for this video, I was proud of it. Now, filming it, I feel that it's okay. I assure you, by the time it's edited and uploaded, I will think that it sucks and feel deeply bad about it. That's the pattern of my self-criticism. And apparently this is necessary because I need to feel like shit if I want to succeed. Haven't succeeded yet. I'm taking your advice, I guess, Elan. I'm not taking it on purpose, I just happen to be ashamed, anxious, and desperate already. You have a passage in your book in which you argue against the idea that everything happens for a reason. It's one in a series of positive mantras you rail against. Live each day as if it's your last. Oh, so unproductively? Believe in yourself. Why should you do that when you suck so much? Everything happens for a reason. It does not. You insist that it does not. You don't like the passivity that the mantra implies, that everything just happens to you rather than you making things happen. And you talk about all the suffering in the world. All the pain and illness and death, your mom's battle with cancer when you were 22.
I'm sorry if this fucks up your worldview, but there was no reason for what was happening to my mom. If any of these things happen to your loved ones, I'm sorry. It's terrible, it's miserable, and I wish there was a reason, but there isn't.
You write that, sure, you can learn from tragedy, but there's no positive spin on it. You shouldn't find a way to feel good about it. The suffering wasn't worth it. But then you insist that your suffering, your shame, anxiety, and desperation, those painful feelings that you foster within yourself, are all for a reason. They're necessary for you to pursue a greatness that you will never let yourself be satisfied with. In another passage, you criticize the idea of having no regrets. Like when a kid puts his hand on a hot stove and people say he shouldn't regret it because he learned the valuable lesson to not put his hand on a hot stove. That's bullshit, you say.
You didn't need to be the asshole who put his hand on a hot stove in order to learn not to do that. I never put my hand on a hot stove, and that's because I listened to people who told me not to put my hand on a hot stove. If living regret-free appeals to you, maybe you're better off having put your hand on a hot stove. In fact, maybe you should do it again, over and over. You can just keep learning more and more. How exciting for you.
Elan, that's you. You keep putting your hand on the stove. You have already learned the lessons that your shame and anxiety and desperation had to teach you, yet you keep going back for more. Have you considered that you might be feeling like shit for no reason? That driving yourself into constant anxiety, beating yourself up over failure, not taking time off, not sleeping enough, rejecting any feeling of satisfaction in your work, maybe it's all for no reason. I mean, even if it's a necessary part of your process, are you sure that process is worth it for the sake of silly dating shows? I enjoy them, I do, but I don't need you to suffer like this for my trashy entertainment. And I just don't buy that this misery is worth it for your champagne water slide or whatever. Look, I know I could go harder in trying to achieve my YouTuber aspirations. I could strive to eliminate any area of my life that is not being maximized for productivity and efficiency. I could replace my current friends with micro-influencer friends for networking. I could stop doing anything fun unless I'm live streaming it on Twitch. I could audition for FBoy Island Season 2. The queer season, make it happen, Elan. I could find a reality TV relationship with someone who I feel nothing for, but we sure look good together in our pictures. We're an Instagram power couple pulling in the likes. Or maybe it's not worth it to give up my life in service of a market-optimized competitive self.
What do you like about me, and why?
I like the fact that you are very confident and you like to get what you want. And we're both very entrepreneurial.
100%.
It doesn't sound like we'll settle for anything.
Yeah.
Which I think
won't settle
we find...
until I have a couple of these houses.
Exactly.
Yeah, cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers.
So we're down to the final 6 men, 2 finalists for each of the women. Nakia is choosing between a nice guy, Fernando, and an F-boy, OG Jared. Oh, they revealed everyone's status halfway through the season, by the way. This show just cannot commit to a premise, but some of the F-boys are still in the running because maybe they can change. Anyway, nice guy Fernando says this.
I can confidently say I'm a better match for Nakia than OG Jared.
I'm here for the love. I completely forgot that there was money involved.
F-boy Jared, however, he needs the 100K, and that's the difference between him and I.
So Fernando is probably right. That is a difference between them. Fernando is a chiropractor. He has an established career, he's making a good salary, he's a breadwinner.
I'm a 6', 225-pound man. I'm a doctor with 2 offices,
Talk
and
about
I'm
it.
about to be an Olympian.
Talk about it, Nando!
Jared, on the other hand, according to Women's Health magazine, is a fitness coach, brand ambassador, social media influencer, and entrepreneur. Again, this is how I talk about my current career too. I'm a content creator / video editor / freelancer / dog walker. I'm unemployed, basically is what I'm saying. Obviously, I don't know the specifics of Jared's financial situation, but he's working a variety of unstable, likely short-term precarious jobs. It makes sense that he would need the money. There's nothing shameful about financial need, and that's the whole premise of the TV show he was cast on, that he's competing for money. The show uses its cash prize as almost symbolic. The money is a symbol of competition. Needing money means you're competitive and manipulative and self-interested, whereas Fernando's financial security means he's a nice guy with a great heart. These tensions around the cash prize come to a head in the second to last episode with the mansplain.
I want to understand, but but I need it explained by a man. I need a mansplain.
Come on. The Mansplain is a segment in which all of the eliminated contestants return to talk shit about the final 6 before the women make their decisions.
I have some things about Casey that I think CJ should know.
Oh my God. What is happening right now?
It comes out that Casey, earlier in the season, back before his inspiring transformation in Limbro, had referred to CJ as a glorified escort.
Casey, first of all, did you say that she was a glorified escort?
Okay, that's taken way out of context.
He defends himself by saying he had bad information.
I had some bad information.
But the main problem here isn't that he was incorrect about the true facts of whether or not CJ is an escort, it's that he was using it as an insult. There's nothing insulting about being an escort, as CJ sort of points out.
Okay, so there's something wrong with being an escort, but you guys can ask us to get money?
Ooh.
I'm sick of these swerfs. Sex work exclusionary radical F-boys. Casey calling CJ an escort is essentially an accusation of bringing something that he feels should be intimate and private into the market. Which again is in line with this whole show that he's on. Casey is using his attractiveness and charm for a chance to win money. So I guess the problem with being an escort is that you're honest about what you're doing. Oh, and by the way, guess who Casey's bad information was from? Garrett. Fucking Garrett.
CJ, I really do like you and I think we have a great future, but you know what, like, I do really like Garrett.
Garrett, predictably, does not have a great time in this mansplain.
If you think Sarah should end up with Garrett, make some noise.
He of course gets accused of being there to play the game rather than to look for love, and in defending himself, he says he doesn't even need the money.
I don't need the money like you guys, man.
He's not like the other F-boys. He doesn't need the money. He's just an asshole. Garrett says that he doesn't need the money a few times throughout the season. He's posturing himself in line with an image of masculine success. He's a successful, self-supporting entrepreneur. He's made a lot of money from his Bitcoin investments, and we should all be very impressed. What Garrett also suggests here, though, is that for the other contestants, the money isn't symbolic. It's not just an abstract game element representing competition. They need money for real reasons to get by. Obviously, it's still not good to be an asshole if you need money. It's bad, in fact. It's bad to not be nice. But if we accept that the only issue here is just this group of F-boys being F-boys as F-boys are prone to do, then we also accept a vision of masculine, rational actors working to optimize personal gain, and we neglect the ways in which the F-boys and all of the contestants are constrained. So how does the cash prize work? In the last episode, Nikki finally reveals the rules. At this point, each of the women has narrowed down their choices to one F-boy and one nice guy.
If you pick a nice guy, you will be rewarded with $100,000 to split with your nice guy. If you do pick an F-boy, the power shifts. It will be him alone who is awarded $100,000. And it will be up to him then to either split the money with you and pursue a relationship, or take it all for himself, therefore ending your relationship with him.
The show is putting these women in a position of pure FLogic. The women are expected to choose a relationship based not just on their feelings, but on consideration of strategy and financial self-interest. The structure of the game makes them into F-girls. So CJ, in a surprising turn of events, rejects F-boy Casey and instead chooses nice guy new Jared.
Oh, thank the Lord.
Good call, in my opinion. Nakia chooses F-boy Jared, who can choose to either split the money or take it all for himself, and
I told you a long time ago that I felt like we would leave here together. And then there was that one night, you were like, I don't want to talk to you. And that like dismissiveness, I really just don't like that. I am going to continue our relationship and split the money.
That is not where I thought that was going. Good for them. And Sarah, she's into Garrett, okay? Bitcoin investor Garrett, girlfriend back home Garrett, absolute, complete, undeniable F-boy Garrett. She's so into him. Of course she chooses him, and
I'm gonna have to end this relationship. And I'm gonna take the money.
Obviously. The dude is like the fuckiest F-boy of all. God damn it, Garrett. Also, I want to take a moment to acknowledge that the 3 winners are named Jared, Jared, and Garrett. Like the closest possible other name to Jared. How did this happen? Who planned this? I've seen a lot of people say that they don't feel bad for Sarah. Clearly Garrett was an F-boy. It's her fault. She should have known better.
She's so nice to you, I would have killed you by now.
And that's just fully F-logic, right? Sure, the strategic F-girl decision would have been for Sarah to choose the nice guy and get the $50,000 even though she wasn't that into him, but Sarah instead follows her heart, risks it all, and is punished for it. She gets no money, she's the loser of the show because she prioritized her romantic feelings over guaranteed financial reward. But because this is FBoy Island after all, there's a twist.
I don't really believe F-boys should be rewarded in the end.
Garrett doesn't get the money. Sarah still doesn't either, but it goes to a charity of her choice.
So with that, I am honored to tell you, F-boy, F off.
This is punishment for being an F-boy, but it also in some way validates the F-boy reward system. It's not like Garrett is being made to feel bad or experience compassion. He could never.
Do I have any regrets? Fuck no. I don't need that money.
The punishment just renders his decision a mistake in F-boy terms, in terms of his own self-interest. And as much as Garrett sucks, it does feel weird to punish him for doing exactly what the structure of the show expected of him, to punish him for winning the game. Sarah is a loser because she followed her heart. Garrett is a loser because he played the game. Both of these get punished. There is no reason on FBoy Island. There is no fairness on FBoy Island. There is no justice on FBoy Island. Being a rational, calculating actor optimizing your self-interest doesn't make you less vulnerable to the whims of the show. You are still constrained. In the last moments, we see this end card. Without the $100,000, Garrett was unable to sponsor Casey's move to Los Angeles. Sadly, the 2 F-boys haven't seen each other since. I think the intention of closing the season with this is like one last F-you to the F-boys. Their F-plans have been foiled. It's sort of bleak though, isn't it? Look, Garrett and Casey suck. They're bad on their own and they're worse as a pair. I personally would rather spend the rest of my life in Limbro than move in with them in LA. But their friendship is the most sincere and developed love story in the show, and it's sabotaged by financial limitations. As much as Garrett postured like he didn't need the money, apparently this friendship did. This is just water now. As an influencer, it's so important that I influence you to drink responsibly and have plenty of water. The rules of the contemporary economy are as absurd and inhumane as the rules of FBoy Island. Neoliberalism is not maximizing your self-interest, and transforming yourself into an optimized market actor isn't going to fix that. Internalizing a sense of constant competition isn't going to fix that. Your life is not a means to the end of your own self-interest. It's your life. Market logic cannot account for the depth of your experiences, the meaning you find in your pursuits, or the sincerity of your relationships. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean romance, I also mean bromance. Or, you know, friendship, family, community, whatever. Pure market logic leaves no space for 2 affectionate F-boys wanting to move in together. Garrett and Casey have tried to make their friendship fit within market constraints. Since the show ended, they've started a GoFundMe to try to raise the $100,000 that they didn't win, saying they would use the money to Prepare yourself, finance Casey's move, create classic #Gacy content, and land our own spin-off show. Some of the content you can expect would be daily vlogs of our insane antics, like attending the Jake Paul fight or a Gacy world tour of us coming to your hometowns. We will also be donating a generous portion of our proceeds to charities of our choice. We love giving back. Rubs to girls we're trying to bang. All joking aside, we are actually good guys. Okay. Nobody wants classic #Gacy content, as it turns out. As of filming, their GoFundMe has raised $285 of its $100,000 goal. The free market doesn't care about #Gacy. But Garrett and Casey care. And you know, I hope they hold on to that care, even as it proves non-monetizable. And I hope they expand their capacity for care. I hope they begin to give their back rubs for the pure pleasure of connection, rather than in service of endless pursuit. There's a disposability that comes with the neoliberalizing of intimacy. Relationships are transactional. If someone isn't efficiently and effectively helping you achieve your goals, they're useless to you. Ghost them. We are increasingly encouraged to cut the dead weight out of our lives. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't owe anyone anything. There's no need for compassion or generosity if it doesn't serve your self-interest. Hold on to the part of you that cares, okay? We're all in this F world together. The people in your life are not your competitors, and they're certainly not commodities. They're people. We need each other. Thank you for watching. If you want some more dating show video essay content, I also have a video about season 23 of The Bachelor, in which the straightest show on TV had a closeted gay lead. Also, if you enjoy my videos, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon to help me continue to dedicate my time and energy to making these. You can give as little as $1 a month to get access to some fun perks. My patrons knew the topic of this video like a month ago, saw some behind the scenes posts, and even had access to watch it a few days early. That could be you. How exciting.